Hindi na ako pupunta sa mga detalye sapagkat talagang very exhaustive ang iyong pag-iimbestiga dito. Nais ko lang sabihin na ipinalabas nito na may korupsyon at nanganganak ng korupsyon at nasasama pa ang mga tao sa gobyerno dito. Meron mga pag-uusap ng national security risk, pero wag natin ilihis ang pag-uusap sa kung ano ba talaga ang nanggagawa ng POGO. Kaya I reiterate my call together with our colleagues that have signed the resolution that has been proposed by Senator Gatchalian. Please, we have to ban POGOs. Iban na natin ang POGO dahil hindi natin sila kayang bantayan. Hindi napapakita natin na ang ating gobyerno ay nahihirapan dahil nga may mga protector sila. Pero kung may nagsabi na ban na ang POGOs, mas madali na natin matutunton. Pag may operation, hindi kayo pwede dyan. Ganun lang kasimple yon. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Sen. Grace. Sen. Sherwin.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Magandang umaga po sa lahat. Parang hindi na ho tayo natututo dahil wala pang 6 na buwan, nagkaroon na ng pangalawang raid sa Porac naman. Yung nangyari sa Bamban, March of this year, 2024, nagkaroon ng malaking raid. Nakita natin kung gaano kalaki yung Pogo Hub na ipinatayo sa Bamban. Nakita rin natin na merong nangyaring human trafficking, merong nangyaring torture, merong nangyaring prostitution. At nakita rin natin may elemento rin ngayon ng mga pagpepeke ng ating identity at pagpepeke ng nationality. Wala pang 6 months, in June of this year, may na-raid naman sa Porac. At itong pag-raid sa Porac, halos parehong-pareho sa nangyari sa Tarlac. Itong Lucky South 99, 2 beses na-raid to. Noong September 2022, na-raid na siya. May nahanap na 40 na mga illegal aliens na nagtatrabaho doon. Gumastos tayo para i-deport. Ngayon, June of 2024, meron na naman na raid. At nung pag-ikot ho namin doon, itong pasilidad, itong Pogo Hub na ito, hindi pang karaniwang Pogo Hub. Para sa akin, ito na siguro yung pinakamalaking Pogo Hub na napuntahan ho natin. Dahil halos ang nadiscover ng computers yung 2,300 computers. So ibig sabihin at any given time, meron silang 2,300 na nagtatrabaho doon. At nakita natin na itong kanilang modus halos parehas. Gumamit sa Tarlac, gumamit sila ng isang bogus land company. Dito rin sa Porac, gumamit rin sila ng mga bogus companies na ang kanilang mga incorporators ay nasa bogus address, hindi alam kung ano ang ginagawa. At nakita rin natin na nagagamit na ngayon yung late registration para daan at makagawa pa na mas maraming krimen dito sa ating bansa. Importante itong late registration kasi nakikita natin na nagiging Pilipino, yun hindi dapat maging Pilipino. At kung naging Pilipino ka, pwede ka nang bumili ng negosyo, pwede ka nang bumili ng lupa, pwede ka nang magtayo ng iba't ibang negosyo, pwede ka nang kumuha ng NBI clearance, at pwede ka na rin tumakbo bilang public servant. Kaya mga kasama, paulit-ulit na lang nangyayari ito. Sa Bamban, 2 beses na raid. Dito sa Pampanga, 2 beses rin po na raid. At hindi hihinto itong mga criminal syndicates, itong mga sindikato, dahil ang laki ng perang pumapasok at umiikot. At nakita rin natin na hindi ito dumadaan sa formal channels. Hindi lumalabas to sa kanilang mga income statements. Ito ay pumapasok nang hindi natin nakikita. Ginagamit nila sa pagpapatayo ng mga ganitong Pogo Hub. At ang nakakatakot, nagagamit rin nila ito sa pagsuhol o pagbili ng impluwensya. Kaya dapat na talagang pahintuin itong mga Pogo sa ating bansa dahil ito ang nabibigay daan sa mas marami pang kriminalidad, lalong-lalo na walang katahimikan na nangyayari sa ating bansa. At nananawagan din po ako sa ating mga kasamahan na suportahan itong pag-ban dahil hindi tatahimik ang ating bansang Pilipinas hanggat nandito sila dahil pumapasok sila, gumagawa ng hindi magaganda at lumalalim na yung kanilang galamay. So maraming salamat, Madam Chair, for hearing this resolution. Thank you.
Maraming salamat, Sen. Sherwin. Senator JV.
Yes, maraming salamat, Madam Chair. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. Una sa lahat, nais kong pasalamatan ang chairperson ng committee ito sa walang samang tigil na pagdinig sa issue kaugnay ng POGO operations. Nasimulan pa ng ating kasamahan din na Senator Gatchalian mula nung nakaraang kongreso sa POGO operation lalo sa human trafficking at scamming activities. Kaysa po ako ng ating matapang na chairperson sa usaping ito. Ang isa pong nakakabahala na sitwasyon dito sa POGO operations sa Bamban ay ang katotohanan na ang mismong mayor ng bayan ang sangkot sa mga illegal na operasyon. Mayroon po akong mga resolution, Madam Chair, sa Sangguniang Panlalawigan sa Tarlac, no? Mula noong 2021 pa lamang, nagkaroon po sila ng resolution denouncing the alleged conduct of online gambling and cybercrime operations sa Barangay Anupul sa Bamban, declaring anti-illegal gambling policy of the provincial government of Tarlac. And it was reiterated, Madam Chair, by another Sangguniang Panlalawigan resolution of 2024 reiterating the anti-gambling policy in 2021. So ang nakakabahala dito at nakausap ko rin po ang ating gobernador, Susan Yap, na doon lang po talaga sa Bamban nagkaroon ng POGO operations. No? Dahil nga po, polisiya ng provincial government ang hindi po nila sinusuportan ang online gaming at gambling operations. So nabahala po ako kasi po kay tulad din ni Senator Gatchalian, ako po ay member ng NPC, kapartido pala namin si Mayor Alice Goo. No? At gusto ko rin sanang malaman, Madam Chair, kung paano yung kanyang assent to power to local government. Kasi nakakabahala po ito. We can already see that she ran for office para po proteksyonan ang negosyo ng mga POGO sa Bamban. At siguro kailangan natin malaman yung naging history. Sayang po, wala siya. Siguro if there will be another hearing again, Madam Chair, I suggest we invite also the former mayor na mukhang siya po ang naging susi kung paano nakapasok si Alice Goo bilang sa political scene ng Tarlac, lalo sa Bamban. Nais ko lang pong malaman na yun nga po, na malaman ng pag-akyat sa kapangyarihan ni Mayor Alice Goo. Kaya nga po, hopefully we can invite the other persons, the former mayor who I understand siya po ang naging susi dahil po nag-last term ay itinulak si Alice Goo na tumakbo bilang mayor dahil tatakbo po siya. So siguro siya po siguro itong POGO operations really funded the campaign of both the former mayor and ito si Alice Goo. Kamakailan po, gaya na aking nabanggit, itiniwalag ng partido ng NPC si Mayor Goo sa pamamagitan ng petisyon na inihain ni Governor Susan Yap. Ang lalawigan ng Tarlac ay isang tahimik, malinis at progresibong probinsya sa pangunguna ng masipag nitong gobernador, ang aming pong kapartido. Ang illegal na POGO operation sa bayan ng Bamban ay nakakasira hindi lamang sa imaheng ito kundi pati na rin sa mapayapang pamumuhay ng mga mamamayan sa probinsya ng Tarlac. Ang operasyon ng mga POGO sa bansa ay mayalang tulad na rin natin sa agresibong presensya at kilos ng mga Chinese sa West Philippine Sea. The presence of the Chinese Coast Guard and militia in our seas and the operation of POGOs on our lands have only caused chaos and social disorder in the country. These are failed attempts to tamper with the Filipino courage and spirit, but undeniably have already adversely affected our communities and fellow citizens. The committee has uncovered and discovered not just the material facts and information to prove the involvement of Mayor Goo, but also the compelling and disturbing reasons that call for the government's policy shift on POGO operations. I believe that really we already have to hasten the phasing out of the POGO industry. Huwag na po natin hintayin na may mahalan na naman na mayor o iba pang opisyal ng gobyerno na magiging protektor sa illegal na operasyong ito. Kaya nga po sana huli na po si Alice Goo na talagang kitang-kita mo, Madam Chair, na siya po ay pinatakbo upang pagtakpan o upang magsilbi sa interes ng POGO operations sa Bamban. Kita natin sa buong Tarlac, wala hong POGO operations except in the municipality of Bamban. Muli, maraming salamat, Madam Chair.
Maraming salamat, Sen. JV. And Comsec, per yung hiling ni Sen. JV, imbitahin nga natin sa susunod na pagdinig yung dating mayor ng Bamban. And then, paumanin, hindi ko kaagad nakita at na-acknowledge yung presensya ni Sen. Lito. Sen. Lito, gusto nyo po bang mag-opening statement din?
Hindi na po ako. Magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat at sa mga kasamahan ko dito sa Senado at sa mga panawin nating mga resource person, ating mga kababayan. Magandang umaga po uli. Hindi na po ako mag-opening statement. Didiretso na lang po ako kung pwede. Pwede na po? Question?
May mga tanong po muna sana,
Okay.
Sen. Lito, simula sa Board of Investments kung maaari po. Pero sigurado lahat po tayo, kasama po kayo ay makapagtatanong during this hearing. Salamat po, Sen. Lito. Kung makapagsimula po tayo ng mga further questions sa Board of Investments, andito po si Yusek Rodolfo. Sir, if you could take these questions po. May ipa-flash po kaming ulit yung SIRV ni Guo Huaping at saka yung Board of Investments letter sa Bureau of Immigration dated 4th June 2024. Familiar po ba kayo sa mga dokumentong ito at pwede nyo po bang ipaliwanag yung konteksto ng mga dokumentong ito? Yusek.
Opo.
Forgive me. Yusek Rodolfo, I missed something important. Could I first ask before you proceed to answer the question, pwede ko bang hilingin si Comsec to acknowledge all the resource persons, brief the committee on the status of those invited and subpoenaed, and administer the oath to those present?
Okay, good morning, everyone. The committee would like to acknowledge the presence of the following resource person. From the Philippine National Police, we have Police Colonel Lucrecio Rodrigueza, Jr. Then from the Criminal Investigation and Detection Group, we have Police Brigadier General Raul M. Takaka, with Police Major Liza G. Avila. Then from the Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Commission, we have Undersecretary Gilberto Cruz. Then we have Dr. Winston John Castro. From the Interagency Council Against Trafficking, we have Undersecretary Nicholas Felix T. Then from the Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corporation, we have Retired General Raul Villanueva, Attorney Jessa Maris Fernandez. From the Intelligence Service of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, we have Colonel Rimbrad B. Ferreira Pa. Then we have Lieutenant Colonel Lex Michelle B. Dapanas, JAGS. Then we have Major Aris A. Guerrero Pa. Then from the National Security Council, we have Deputy Director General Nestor Jerico. Then we have Mr. Eugene Lirio Texan from the National Security Specialist. Then we have from the Department of Information and Communication Technology, we have ASEC Renato Paraiso. We have Engineer Gladys De Ocampo. Then from the Anti-Money Laundering Council, we have Attorney Emmet Rodion Manantan. Then Attorney Arnold Cabanlit. Then Attorney Richard Chan. We have Attorney Adrian Arpon. We have Attorney Erano Domali. We have Mr. Jason Padilla, Miss Paula Bianca M. Diamante Honrado. From the Bureau of Internal Revenue, we have Attorney Ralbert John Tibayan. And Attorney Scanton Orculio. Then from the Bureau of Immigration, we have Attorney Arvin Cesar Santos, Attorney Jose Carlitos Licas, and Mr. Peter Demetria. Then from the National Bureau of Investigation, we have Regional Director Jerry Abiera. From the Philippine Statistic Authority, we have Mr. Fred Sulesta, Engineer Marisa Grande, Attorney Eliezer Ambatali, Miss Emily Macario, and Attorney Precious Angela Paganahe. From the Department of Foreign Affairs, we have Miss Lailani Feliciano. We have Mr. Bon Ryan Pangwi, Director Lemuel Lopez. From the Department of Agrarian Reform, we have Director Joseph Aurelia. From the Department of Interior and Local Government, we have Attorney Juan Victor Llamas, Undersecretary. Then from the Department of Interior and Local Government, yes, we have Yusek Llamas. Then from the Local Civil Registry of Tarlac, we have Mr. Armin Leonardo Ibarra. From the Philippine Retirement Authority, we have Mr. Roberto Susugbrado and Attorney Antonio Rivera, together with Attorney Jerome Castro. Then from the National Telecommunications Commission, we have Attorney John Paulo Salbahan. Then from the Department of Trade and Industry, we have Undersecretary Seferino Rodolfo and Director Ryan Ramos. We sent an invitation to Mayor Alice Goo, but she just sent a letter of regrets. And we invited, and then we have Mayor Jaime Capil of the municipality of Porac, province of Tarlac, together with Engineer Glenn Lansangan. We invited, Your Honor, Ms. Goo Jiang Shong, Sheila Goo, Wesley Goo. These are the relatives of Mayor Goo. But the lawyer of the Goo acknowledged our letter, but they just reply that, the lawyer replied that he is not representing the other members of the family. Then
The lawyer replied that he's not representing the members of the family?
Yes.
The other members?
Yes. But,
This is the lawyer of Alice Goo.
Yes.
So why is he even writing the committee about them? At ano po yung grounds ni Alice Goo for not attending the hearing
Well,
sa kanyang sulat, Comsec?
Yes. And I read, this is the letter of explanation of Mayor Goo. On 21 June 2024, I received an invitation to a public hearing dated 20 June 2024 from this honorable committee, inviting my presence as a resource person to the aforesaid public hearing scheduled on 26 June 2024 at 10 o'clock in the morning. Regrettably, I would like to most respectfully inform this honorable committee that I cannot attend and participate in the said hearing because I personally believe that I am not fit to appear as one of the resource person to the said inquiry. Truth be told, my exposure to prolonged stress and high level of anxiety owing to the concerning and malicious accusation thrown against me have adversely affected and caused serious impact on my physical and mental health. With all due
The mayor
respect,
believes she is not fit to be a resource person, but the committee obviously believes she is fit to be a resource person. Kaya natin inimbita siya ulit. Please proceed, Comsec.
with all due respect, as you may already know, I am placed under preventive suspension for 6 months by the Office of the Ombudsman, while the administrative charges filed against me are pending. Worse, our motion for reconsideration with motion to lift preventive suspension dated 10 June 2024 was denied, and in an order dated 18 June 2024. Second, several letters of authority were served to me and to my other legitimate businesses as the Bureau of Internal Revenue commenced their assessment. Third, the Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Commission has openly filed a criminal complaint against me, charging me with a non-bailable offense of qualified human trafficking. More importantly, I have been exposed to public ridicule, humiliation, and hatred for several months now, tarnishing my public image, character, and reputation. Unfortunately, I have already been prejudged guilty by the public despite the absence of any finding by the court of law and proper tribunals. In view of the foregoing, please accept my most sincere apologies for my absence and for any inconvenience this may have caused the committee. I would like to emphasize that I have no ill will or slightest intent to disrespect, disregard, or disobey this honorable committee. From Ms. Alice Go.
Thank you, Comsec. Unfortunately, the non-appearance of Mayor Alice Guo is a disregard of the invitation of the committee. At kahit may ongoing processes sa Office of the Ombudsman, sa BIR, sa PAOK, hindi yan dahilan na hindi siya magpakita rito. So at the proper time, I will consider ordering the issuance of a subpoena to Mayor Alice Guo. What about the other persons invited? Comsec, Guo, Jian, Zhong, Sheila Guo, Wesley Guo, and Lin Wenye.
There's no reply from them except that reply of the lawyer that he's not representing the other member of the family.
Which is a non-reply of
Yes.
the lawyer. So
Then
the same, the chair will consider ordering the issuance of subpoenas as well to the other persons invited.
Yes, we
Yes, Comsec, before you proceed, Sen. Sherwin.
May I inquire if Ms. Nancy Gamo was also invited?
Your Honor,
Comsec.
we invited also Ms. Nancy Gamo, and we did not receive a reply. But during her interview, she told the interviewer that she will attend the hearing of the committee.
Madam Chair, she is central to this hearing, considering that she is on record the accountant or the person in charge of filing documents in behalf of the Go family in the different Go related companies, and then her name also appeared in different Pogo companies. No? So she's very central to this investigation, and at the proper time, Madam Chair, I'll join you in your motion to subpoena these personalities.
Thank you, Senator Sherwin.
Madam Chair, there are still some resource persons here, I believe, that need to be acknowledged.
Yes,
so we
thank
know
you,
who they are.
Sen. Grace. Just before we ask the COMSEC to do that, just to make of record that my office received a sworn statement of facts affidavit from Nancy J. Gamo. And one of the points she makes here is that, however, I was unable to attend because I opened the email containing the invitation too late. Although this was for an invitation last May 22. So the point made earlier by Senator Sherwin stands, and the chair welcomes his manifestation. Please proceed, COMSEC.
Your Honor, we also invited Jack Lopez Uy, but we were not able to locate his address. Then we invited Mr. Dennis Cunanan, the consultant of Advantage Management Consulting Philippines, but he just sent his lawyer, Attorney J. Floran Clerigo.
Is the attorney present, COMSEC?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, noted. Thank you, attorney.
Then from we invited Mr. John Patrick Sampson, but the address that was given to us, the address there actually, the office was already closed. Then we sent an invitation to Mr. Alberto Rodolfo de la Serna and Ms. Cassandra Ong, and we received no reply from them. Then we have with us Ms. Merly Joy Manalo Castro. Then, on our invitation for Mr. Walter Wong Long, the warden of the provincial jail of Tarlac sent us a letter of reply sent us a letter informing us that our request has been denied by the judge. The judge denied our invitation, our request for the appearance of Mr. Wong based on the revised rules of civil procedure. Then we actually wrote another letter to Warden Munoz requesting if we can invite Mr. Wong online. But he replied, and can I read his reply, Your Honor?
Please proceed, Comsec.
Inasmuch as the undersigned is eager to comply with your request, I'm afraid that doing so will have a consequence of facing charges of contempt before the court of jurisdiction. Secondly, I am not considering that I might be violating the constitutional right of the accused to self-incrimination, as explicitly cited by the Honorable Judge order dated 24 June 2024 under the revised rules of civil procedure, which is the very underlying reason for his denial of a request for a court order.
The committee thanks the good judge for the reply and will consult with Senate Legal kung ano yung proper possible next steps namin, fully respecting the separate and co-equal status of our different branches of government. Please proceed, Comsec.
Yes, we also sent an invitation to Mr. Jonathan Mendoza, the spokesperson of Son Yuan, Ms. Nancy Jimenez Gamo. Then there's no reply from them. Then from the Lucky South 99, we invited Mr. Michael Bryce Macarenas, Ms. Stephanie Macarenas, and Mr. Rodrigo Bande, and Mr. Shantang, Mr. Jing Gu, but we did not receive any reply from them. The last hearing, the Honorable Senator Win Gatchalian reminded us about the subpoena about Ms. Jamie Lynn Cruz, Mr. Roderick Paul Pujante, and Mr. Juan Miguel Alpaz. But until now, we cannot get the address because the address stated in the articles of incorporation were all non-existent. That's all, Your Honors.
Thank you, Comsec.
May I-
So in addition to the previously mentioned Alice Guo, Guo Jian Zhong, Lin Wen Ye, Sheila Guo, and Wesley Guo, all the other invited resource persons, except for Dennis Cunanan, who is represented today by his attorney, all the other invited resource persons whose offices were closed, who gave no reply, and of course also accepting Walter Wong Long because the invitation to him is already covered by the reply of the good judge. The other invited resource persons, also whose addresses are non-existent, may at the proper time be the subject of the proper motion and ordering of the issuance of subpoena. So, Comsec, could you please administer the oath to those present sa mga hindi pa po nakakapanumpa sa atin?
May I request those who have not taken their oath during our last hearing to please stand up, raise your right hand, and repeat after me. I, please state your name, do solemnly swear to this investigation. Thank you. You may now take your seat.
Maraming salamat, Comsec, at sa lahat ng mga resource persons. Before we go back to you, Sec. Rodolfo, and our questions for the Board of Investments, just to act on this matter already, the Chair orders the issuance of subpoenas to the previously mentioned invited resource persons who did not make themselves available for the hearing today.
I second the motion, Madam Chair.
So moved and duly seconded. Thank you to Sen. Sherwin. So the Chair orders such, Comsec. Salamat po. So let's go on now with the Board of Investments. We'll flash again, Yusek Rodolfo, the SIRV of Guo Huaping, and the BOI letter to the BI dated 4th June 2024. Familiar po ba kayo sa mga dokumentong ito at pwede niyo po bang ipaliwanag sa amin ano po yung konteksto ng mga dokumentong ito?
Yes, Your Honor. Honorable Chair, honorable members of the committee, we actually received 3 requests on information related to this hearing. One is from Commissioner Norman Tansinco on a letter that he sent to our DTI Secretary Alfredo Pascual and the BOI Executive Director Bobby Fondevilla. This was dated June 3, inquiring on the complete details of the special investors resident visa application of one Guo Jian Zong. And we replied, Your Honor, June 3, same date, but was received the day after by the Bureau of Immigration, informing the Bureau of Immigration that as per our records, the said foreign national and his dependents were previous holders of SIRV issued pursuant to provisions of Book 5 of Executive Order 226, otherwise known as the Omnibus Investment Code of 1987, with the following details. So the SIRVs were issued to Guo Jian Zhong, the principal, with date of birth 16 September 1958, to Shi Xiu Mei, the dependent spouse, date of birth September 9, 1961, to Guo Lingling, the dependent daughter, date of birth November 21, 1982, and to Guo Lina, dependent daughter, September 15, 1986, yung date of birth po. The SIRV status, this was cancelled in May 23, 2003. And then,
Yusek, yung mga pangalang binanggit nyo dun sa naunang SIRV na in-issue are different from the names we see here. So we're presuming these are different dependents, or we can say they are not the same as appear in these documents.
yung sa pangalan po, but we have no competence. We're not the competent authority to determine whether pareho silang mga katauhan po. But may I also proceed, Madam Chair, on the official request that we received from the Senate Committee on Women, Children, Family Relations, Gender and Gender Equality
Yes,
dated
please.
19th June and 20th June. So on a Lin Wenyi, Chinese national, and as I mentioned, former holder of SIRV. Following are the details of the said foreign national based on the files on record. So this refers to Lin Wenyi. Ms. Lin applied for SIRB along with her dependents Guo Huaping, Guo Jianglong, and Guo Xiang Dian. Their SIRB were granted 25 May 2000. She invested $75,000 in Triumph Embroidery Center Incorporated, formerly Hua Fei Embroidery Center Incorporated, a business enterprise engaged in rendering embroidery services. The said firm is considered an eligible form of investment under the SIRV rules and regulations. The existence of the said investment was confirmed via an ocular inspection conducted by the BOI on May 22, 2002. The following documents were submitted for the revalidation of their SIRB, because this is part of the SIRB process po. Valid Chinese passports, alien certificates of registration, SEC registration, and articles of incorporation of Hua Fei Embroidery Center, a certificate of inward remittance issued by the Bangko Sentral of Filipinas, that time dated September 30, 1999. Now, in line with our rules, after the validation of foreign nationals' eligibility for SIRB, their names were endorsed to the Bureau of Immigration for the grant of the visa. The Bureau of Immigration conducts its own validation process and then acts on the BOI endorsement by implementing the visas in sticker form onto the holders' passports. Their SIRV were canceled on August 22, 2011, as represented by the letter of the holder's authorized representative. They were applying for Special Resident Retirees Visa or SRRV with the Philippine Retirement Authority. This was as of September 12, 2011 po. Upon verification by BOI with PRA, the said foreign nationals are currently active holders of the SRRV. Now, we also provided, Madam Chair, copies of the following documents to the Senate in reply to the June 19 and June 20th letters. The accomplished SIRV application form, the initial report of investment by the applicant, the accomplished deed of undertaking, the certification of inward remittance issued by the Bangko Sentral Registration Department, the certification issued by Huafei Embroidery Center Incorporated certifying Li Wenyi as a stockholder of the firm, the articles of incorporation and bylaws of Huafei Embroidery Center Incorporated, the annual income tax return and balance sheet for calendar years ending December 31, 2001 of Huafei Embroidery Center duly received by the Bureau of Internal Revenue, the affidavit on the capacity to invest of at least $75,000, the certifications issued by the Department of Health National Quarantine Office, the passport bio pages and visa stamps, and the biometrics, in particular, the right thumbprint of the said personalities. Please be informed also that the SIRV holders are required to physically report to our office upon approval of their visas to have their pictures and biometrics captured for issuance of the SIRV ID. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Yusek. So, do you confirm the authenticity of these documents related to the SIRV of Guo Huaping?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Ano po yung requirements para sa SIRV application bukod sa maaring nabanggit nyo na kanina? And also, what about the dependents of an applicant? May requirements din po ba kaugnay nila?
Yung requirement, doon po sa principal applicant, nabanggit na natin yung mga documentary requirements, pero ang main requirement po is the $75,000 na investment in qualified targeted investments. Ito pong, pag sinabi natin qualified investment targets, this would be in shares of stock in corporations engaged in services, manufacturing, or in a publicly listed company. Dati ho, pinapayagan natin yung pag-invest sa condominium units or in a trading enterprise. But since 2002, hindi na ho natin pinapayagan yung mga yon. Doon sa mga dependent ko, in addition to the documentary requirements that I mentioned, they have to be below 21 years old, which would explain ho, kung makikita ho natin doon sa birth date ni Guo Huaping, nung nag-apply ho sila, nung requested their SIRV to be canceled in 22 August 2011, lalagpas na ho siya sa 21 years old. Kaya siya we could surmise that that is the reason why they transferred to the Philippine Retirement Authority Special Resident Retirees Visa.
Salamat, Yusek. Oo, patatanungin din natin yung tungkol sa PRA mamaya. Pero dito pa rin sa SIRV ng BOI, required po ba ang personal appearance ng lahat ng aplikante? At may biometrics bang kinukuha ang BOI?
Opo, Madam Chair. The SIRV holders are required to physically report to the Board of Investments upon approval of their visas to have their pictures and biometrics, in particular ho, signature and fingerprint captured. Para ho to kasi sa issuance ng kanilang SIRV ID. So kailangan po silang mag-physically to report in our offices. In our office, sorry.
And speaking of, kanina binabanggit nyo nga po yung thumbprints, no? Kababanggit nyo ulit ngayon. Normal po ba na yung isang ina, i-enter niya yung thumbprint niya para sa minor child niya? So, halimbawa, in the case of one of these documents, yung minor child, mga 9 years old, so hindi na po siya baby. At may papakita po ako dito ulit. Ito po, even to the naked eye, it looks like, dun sa ano kanina, yung slide po na magkasama yung thumbprint ni Li Wenye at yung thumbprint ni Guo Haping. Mukhang magkapareho ang thumbprint nung Lin Wenye, yung ina, at yung Guo Haping na dependent daughter. So alam ko rin na yung NBI ay may biometrics ni Guo Haping, so not all is lost. Kaya lang dagdag na nakakalito. At dagdag pa, yung dalawang minor siblings nung Guo Haping dyan sa document na yan, sila naman hindi thumbprint. Okay, ito na muna. Yung magkatabing thumbprint ni Lin Wenye at ni Guo Huaping, parang magkapareho. I am not a fingerprint expert at all. So I was just showing it again and sa inyo Yusek at sa lahat po nating nandirito sa hearing. So nakakalito nga. So pero bakit yung dalawa pang minor dependents, minor siblings ni Guo Huaping, hindi, well, I cannot ask you why, pero ninonote ko lang, sila, yung dalawa, hindi thumbprint nung ina. Ginamit nila yung sarili nilang thumb. So bakit kaya, at bakit kaya yung special effort para kay Alice? I'm of course presuming na yung Guo Huaping ay si Alice Guo din. Any insights, Yusek?
Madam Chair, sa proseso ho namin dapat, unless infant, pero dapat ho talaga yung, pati yung dependent, i-capture yung kanyang thumbprint. So, assumption of regularity po, on the processes undertaken in 2000, yung ina, yung principal, kinapture yung kanyang thumbprint, tapos yung si Guo Huaping, kinapture din yung kanyang thumbprint. We're not competent to assess kung one and the same yung thumbprint na nakikita ho natin, but these are the thumbprints that we have on record, including dun sa dalawa pang dependent ho.
And of course, and fair enough po, Yusek. And of course, yung presumption of regularity is dun sa government agency na tumatanggap ng ganitong mga submissions or nagko-conduct ng ganitong mga procedure. So, dapat nga yung BOI. So, tapos, yes sir. Tapos, Yusek, kanina nakita nyo rin po yung passport ni Guo Huaping. Sa estimation nyo lamang po, bilang layperson, siya nga ba si Alice Guo? If you can offer an opinion.
Madam Chair, we're not the competent authority.
All right. Fair enough muli, Yusek. Ano pong klaseng screening ang ginagawa sa applicants para masiguro na matitinong tao sila or on the level na tao sila sa process na to, na pinapayagang maging residente sa bansa natin?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Sa BOI ho, once we endorse to the Bureau of Immigration, we also endorse ho to the NICA.
I apologize, Yusek. Please proceed.
Thank you. Madam Chair, pagka ho in-endorse namin sa Bureau of Immigration for the issuance of the visa, we also endorse so to the NICA. Tapos so si Bureau of Immigration also undertakes their own assessment.
So kumbaga mayroong cross-referencing or validation on the part ng NICA at saka BI.
May I also, Madam Chair, just for context ho, para alam din ng lahat, ang number of active SIRB holders ho ng BOI, total ho, principal investors 1,224, at saka dependents 1,124. So ang total ho natin, and the earliest that we have on record, 1988. So cumulative na ho yan, lahat-lahat na ho. Since 1998 ay 2,348. Medyo konti lang ho. Every year ho, less than 100 yung ating na-issue na SIRB. Dahil medyo mahigpit nga po yung mga requirement natin. Thank you.
At mabuti kung mahigpit, probably in this case not mahigpit enough. And gaya ng na-observe nyo, hindi naman napakarami ang 2,000 higit. So dapat kaya nating mas siguruhin pa. So salamat po, Yusek. Before we go on, I need to just for the processes of the committee to repeat the chair's motion to subpoena Mayor Alice Leal Guo, Lin Wen Ye, Guo Jiang Zhong, Sheila Leal, Seaman Leal, and Wesley Leal, and the other earlier mentioned resource persons who are not present and without good reason to be absent in this hearing, to order the issuance of subpoena to those persons.
Yes, Madam Chair, I second the motion. Likewise, I reiterate also my recommendation to invite the former mayor of Bamban so that we will get to the bottom of the truth on how Alice Go came into ascension, into power. Obviously, it was really, she really ran for the position to protect the interests of the Pugo. So again, may the committee, Madam Chair, invite also former Mayor Feliciano.
So ordered earlier, Sen. JV, and reiterated by the chair, the invitation to the next hearing to former Mayor Feliciano. And thank you for seconding the order to subpoena the named resource persons. Salamat po. So I'll move on now to the NBI. Okay. We have Regional Director Jerry Abiera. Salamat, sir. Nakita nyo po kanina, finlash ko po yung NBI clearance ng isang Alice Leal Guo, birthday 12 July 1986. Pero iba po ang mukha sa mayor ng Bamban. May chance po ba na nagkaroon ng switching? Posible bang glitch sa sistema?
Baka ibang tao talaga yan, ma'am. Hindi sa sistema ang may problema.
So, baka ibang tao ito, so nagkaroon ng switch.
Pwede, ma'am. Pero hindi ko masabi kung ano ba talaga ang nangyari dyan.
So, pwedeng nangyari dahil sa isang switch. Ano pang paraan ang pwedeng nangyari na ganito? May isa pang Alice Leal Guo, parehong birthday, pero ibang muka.
Ano ko lang, ma'am, ang sistema ng pagkuha ng clearance, apply ka ng clearance online, tapos babayaran mo, magkakaroon ka ng schedule, pupunta ka sa office mismo para kuhanan ka ng picture at saka biometrics, yun na yung fingerprint. Ngayon, dahil siya ang nag-appear dyan, i-presume natin na siya mismo, yung nasa picture, yan yung nagpunta sa office. So kung yung Alice Go na yan, magkaiba naman kay Mayor, hindi natin alam kung yung pangalan nga ay parehas na parehas ang date. Ang mas maganda, ma-determine natin dahil yung fingerprint, magkakaiba talaga yan para ma-determine natin whether or not yung tao na yan at saka yung si Mayor ay magkaiba.
Tama po. Importanteng mapaghambing yung mga fingerprints
Yes,
nila.
ma'am.
And so ang sinabi nyo rin po kanina, physically pumunta sa opisina ng NBI itong Alice Leal Guo, kasi letrato niya ay kuha sa NBI office. Pero pumunta din yung akala nating iniimbestiga nating Alice Leal Guo personally kasi kinuha din yung photo niya dun sa opisina. Pero pareho silang nabigyan ng clearance. Parehong pangalan, parehong birthday, magkaibang mukha. Pero possibly on different occasions, pareho silang na-issuehan ng clearance.
Pero yung nakita ko lang, ma'am, yung itong sa right side ng clearance. Ewan ko, ma'am, kung si Mayor meron bang clearance na talagang mukha ay dumikit dun sa clearance certificate.
Okay po. Magandang hanapin din po namin yun dahil lahat naman po tayong nagtatrabaho at pati tayong nagtatrabaho sa gobyerno ay maya't maya kailangan kumuha ng clearance. Napakahalaga yung ipaghambing yung dalawang thumbprints po nila. Pero sir, nag-aalala din po ako para sa babae na nasa clearance ninyo. Yung either kapangalan ni Alice Leal Guo o yung totoong Alice Leal Guo. Pwede po bang i-ascertain ng NBI yung kinaroroonan nitong Alice Leal Guo at kung siya ay buhay pa o patay na?
Yes, ma'am. Pagbalik ko, ma'am, susubukan namin ma'am. Pa-report ko, ma'am, na papahanap natin, ma'am.
Salamat po, RD. Bago dumako sa PSA, follow-up question sa PRA, kaugnay nung mga sagot ni Yusek Rodolfo ng BOI kanina. So, mula sa PRA, sinong nandito from PRA? Ito. Yes, of course. Philippine Retirement Authority. Sir Sosobrado. Morning, sir. May record rin po ba yung PRA nung Special Resident Retirees Visa o SRRV naman related to Guo Huaping?
Good morning, Madam Chair. Yes, we have on record that, let's see, Lin Wen Yi, after she canceled her SIRV, she applied for SRRV in October of 2011, and which was approved. We were given the order of issuance by the Bureau of Immigration on October 27. And on that application, she had two dependent children, Jiang Long Guo and Xiang Jian Guo. Only these two, both male. We don't have any record at all of any other Guo that could be Alice Guo.
So unlike the earlier issued SIRV by the other agency,
Yeah.
nung pagdating na po sa authority ninyo and requested to issue another visa, yung SRRV, dalawang dependents na lamang po, parehong lalaki.
Dalawa.
Wala na po yung Guo Huaping.
Wala.
Okay po. And may biometric information din po ba kayo ni Lin Wen Ye, like fingerprint, photo, signature?
We have the thumb marks of Lin Wen Yi. Unfortunately, we don't have for the two dependent children. However, what we're doing now, in light of what has been happening lately, we now require everybody to have the thumb marks and submit their thumb marks, even the dependents.
So dati po hindi yon part ng application
Just
process?
the principal.
Just the principal?
Yes.
Okay po. Salamat, Mr. Sosobrado.
You're welcome.
Thank you. We just got information that we've already received from the NBI the fingerprints of, or rather the NBI clearance, yung kaninang pinag-usapan namin ni RD Abiera. This is kay? Okay. So ito nga po yung NBI clearance ni Mayor Alice Leal Guo. So, mabibigang daan yung sinabi nyo, RD Abiera, na paghambing sa fingerprints ni Mayor Alice Leal Guo at yung isa pang Alice Leal Guo na parehong spelling, parehong birthday, pero ibang muka. So, salamat. Okay, I'd like to go now to the PSA. And from PSA, we have, will it be Mr. Solesta or Engineer Grande? Mr. Solesta. Salamat, sir. Alam ko po na gumawa kayo ng probe ukol sa birth records ni Mayor Alice Guo. And sa usapin ng birth certificates for sale, no, yung issue sa PSA. Una, ano po yung categorical findings nyo kay Mayor Alice? So it will be Engineer Mariza. Yes, ma'am.
Hello. Madam Chair, based po dun sa investigation that was conducted by our Fraud and Management Division, we coordinated with Tarlac Local Civil Registry Office, and based on file, what was found is only the negative certificate issued by then NSO is part of the supporting documents. And based dito sa negative certification of birth from the former office, kasama dito yung si Alice and also yung kanyang sister Sheila, is the only sole supporting document submitted for delayed registration. So in fact, we also observed that the negative certificate was issued after the document was prepared by the staff of the local civil